then past and present industry scenarios, current manufacturing challenges, customer challenges, then what were the earlier life cycle processes, what are the enhanced life cycle processes, and to address this challenge, how this Technomatics portfolio is helpful. And finally, we will discuss about and we'll see some visuals about virtual commissioning also. To begin with, if we look back at the Industrial Revolution, the first phase of Industrial Revolution started in 18th century, end of 18th century, where mechanical production using hydroelectric and steam powered equipments were used. Then second phase, it started with the beginning of the 20th century with the introduction of mass production. The first mass production line was introduced by Ford. Then the third was introduced in early 70s, where further automation and use of electronics and IT. The first programmable logic control machine was introduced in third phase of Industrial Revolution. And now the current is fourth phase, where networking and exchange of information between humans and machine. So with this, now currently the companies face many challenges. As you can see from this visual, the past, it was all manual work. Now the humans are replaced by robots and automated processes. So the current business challenges are, now there is a compulsory requirement of flexibility in production. Earlier, there were dedicated lines in the companies for a product line, and which involved more land cost, more equipment cost, and utilization was also not very effective. To address or to stay in the market now, so this flexible production is a must. So means quick setup change and introduction of robots. Then with the global economy, though now the companies expand to all parts of the globe, and as the company becomes obese in size, management and keeping a close control on the companies and the processes becomes very difficult. Then the next challenge is now with the requirement of this flexibility and faster time to market, the shop floor complexity has increased with the introduction of robotic lines and automation. And obviously, doing this, we have to strive for the quality also. The quality of the product should be competent enough to stay in the market. And for doing this, you have to, it is very obligatory and mandatory for companies to reduce the cost so that they can be competent in the market. And to sustain in the market, there is a constant need for improvement and standardization across all plants in the globe. Accordingly, the customer also face challenges. They have these complex lines now. Then they have to meet the regulatory compliances, geographic facility requirements, apart from maintaining the production schedule. Also, the safety of operators is of prime importance, and also ergonomics. Ergonomics basically is very important because ultimately, otherwise it ends up in a so-called occupation hazard. A long term, at the end, they have these injuries, permanent injuries, disabilities and all, and which ultimately results in resentment of the unions or the workers. So that's why it has to be observed, addressed by all companies. To address all these challenges now and to sustain in a current market scenario, this digital transformation is the only requirement or the essential. It is essential because if you see that in automation, now the introduction of robots is there, lot of automation is done. Then mobility means if you have to keep a close control over the processes, you must be able to access the data from any part. Then cloud computing, it is just a technology offshoot of a technological development. Analytics also, it helps in taking smart business decision, timely decisions. CRM, we can see, Miss, for example, that if you visit any bank site, there are now chatbots which will address your queries. So no intervention of people is there. And IoT, it is interlinking of machines and humans. So what is the digitalization or creating a digital twin? Actually, this video will best explain. Miss, yesterday in the yesterday's session, Prabodhanji discussed about digitalization of parts using NX or Solid Edge, SolidWorks. There are so many tools in the market available. So what is a digital twin? Digital twin is creating a digitization of a part or a process, simulating, and it should work like a real product. This video is self-explanatory. Please see this. So the same testing is going on in a virtual environment. So this now our focus would be on production digital twin. So there are 4 phases. Then we can digitize the process, digitize the human activities also, and complete plant and operations. This we'll discuss in future slides. The traditional product life cycle was like this, that actually means the limitation was first all the departments were working in isolation. The design department would design the part, then the manufacturing engineering department will decide the process plan, then the machine procurement will be done, then you assemble the machine, assemble the fixtures, and then finally is the tryout. It was done in a sequential manner. Then at the last moment, all the hidden problems would surface out, and then debugging with a lot of pressure to meeting the timelines was the major problem. And finally, the tryout was done. During this, it is quite possible that error in the program could lead to the accidents of the equipment, accidents of the humans also. And that is very expensive. And ultimately, this cost is distributed over the component or the parts. So that's why you cannot stay very competent in the market. So with this digitization, now we can shorten this commissioning time because we can design the equipment and parallelly do the installation and debugging. Then we can simulate the work, complete cell, and even validate the design controls. So the tryout time is reduced. So ultimately the reduction in time is reduction in cost. So to address all these challenges, this Siemens has this Technomatics portfolio, wherein there are various tools for planning, simulation, and production. You can virtually plan the process, layouts of the plant. You can create the work instruction, ensure quality standards. For simulation, there is assembly simulation, then Technomatics process simulate for robotic simulation. And there is logistics. And if you want to simulate and estimate the overall plant output, there is plant simulation available. And for human and ergonomics, that is process simulate human or a jack. And there is a provision of virtual commissioning also, where you can connect all the controls to the virtual machine and simulate, test the logic, test the interlocks, everything. So in the planning, these tools are available, this process planner, advanced assembly planning, process designer. You can create electronic work instructions also for plant layout and all. It is a factory CAD is available, and variation analysis too. Once the process is planned, you can create 3D work instructions. The advantage of this is that earlier there was drawing board, then after the development of this introduction of AutoCAD, 2D drawings were made, but still it is very difficult to visualize in 2D for most of the people. So now this 3D work instruction, it is very easy to visualize and understand, and dynamically we can fetch the work instructions, provide work instruction to the shop floor on demand. Earlier, what used to happen that if suppose the company get a customer feedback or a customer failure, they go for a design change. Whereas the operators at the shop floor, they are manufacturing with the old drawings also. With this digitization, everybody, all the cross-functional teams have access to the same data. So the moment there are changes in the design, they are incorporated on the shop floor also. So for factory design, this is the factory layout. This factory CAD is also available. Faster design, because you cannot visualize a complete plan in a 3-dimensional way. Then improved collaboration among cross-functional teams because of this common access to the data. Then optimize material handling, logistic, and indirect labor. You can miss last minute changes. It is very expensive and very difficult to do that. So by using these tools, we can make these changes, ensure, validate that beforehand, before actually the construction starts. Then there is a simulation. Simulation, why it is needed? Because whatever we plan, we have to ensure you simulate and ensure. Means like we can estimate earlier, suppose if you want to decide the production capacity of a line. So it was very theoretical that you calculate the total number of machines, the cycle time of the machine, and accordingly you can decide the line. But there are many factors, hidden factors, which contribute to the output of the line, like breakdown, tool change, setup change. That is not included when we do it manually. So we don't get a clear picture of the actual output of the line or a plant. So there are tools available in that you can simulate considering all these factors, and you will get a realistic picture of the plant or a line. So obviously it helps in reduction in the cost, to eliminate human factors issues, then increase productivity, and obviously quick return on investment. And the motto of simulation is that once you validate, when you go for the actual commissioning and start the production, it is right first time, because there are no changes at the last moment. So these are the tools available in Technomatics portfolio: Process Simulate Assembly, Automatic Path Planner, then Process Simulate Robotics, RobCAD, Robot Expert. For simulation of a plant is Plant Simulation, Value Stream Mapping. And for human, it is JAC or Process Simulate Humans. These are predominantly used tools in the market now. Robotic simulation and programming, it is done to optimize the robotic and automated manufacturing system, ensure ergonomically safe process, then emulating related behavior of a manufacturing process. Emulating means you can connect different softwares to this and emulate it to get the same results as it is done in a virtual commissioning. And optimizing means you can create what-if scenarios by changing the layout of the line and see how much would be the output. You can create different what-if scenarios beforehand also, and you can ensure the optimized process. So this is the video which shows the simulation of a body in white line, wherein the facility is that you can even check the collisions beforehand, make necessary changes in the fixture, plan, tools, and even do the robotic programming offline. And then you can directly feed this program to the robot, and the robot will work in the same fashion. So this for plant, the tool available is plant simulation. You can do the system performance and analysis. You can do create, means you can even check the logistics, material flow, what is the bottleneck, which is the bottleneck, how to break that bottleneck. If you suppose in the line production, the all machines don't have similar cycle time. So the machine which is having a maximum cycle time decides the output of a line. So for a continuous operation of a line, there is a need to keep a buffer inventory in between the bottleneck and the other machines. So what should be the optimized bottleneck, means buffer to be kept? This all scenarios can be simulated in plant simulation.
Action digital twin of our plant. We keep it up to date. And this is our kitting area.
This is the plant. The complete plant is simulated here.
Leading to much rework. As a result, they are lowering our key performance indicators, or KPI. Using our digital twin, we will seek to improve utilization and return on capital employed. First, let's see how much with just 2 more workers per shift increase our utilization and ROCE. We'll run the simulation, and when it completes, it will let us know how many parts we can make, which in turn will allow us to perhaps improve on the current 70% utilization and 3% ROCE. We'll fast forward the simulation to save us some time. And indeed, we are improving our utilization, ROCE. If we can add more workers to 2 shifts, how about we try another approach? Perhaps
this is an example of what if scenario. Means if 2 workers are added, how much would be the output?
ROCE. Again, we'll change our parameters on our digital twin and rerun the simulation to seek our results. In this case, we are running more parts, however, utilization ROCE.
So the next in this is that human simulation and ergonomics. The importance of this is that, normally what happens in industry is that the worker issues, means actually you cannot validate that when they complain that they are having a backache and they need some improvement in the line. It cannot be validated very easily. And normally those are ignored. And this means accumulated animosity of the workers leads to labor disruption, strikes and all. And also their productivity goes down if they face discomfort or doing same work day in, day out for hours. So this is of prime importance to even validate their comfort, ergonomics, and we can design the cell accordingly beforehand, virtually, before going for actual production. And also you can check in this human or the process simulate Jack or process simulate human, you can check the space available, the reachability during assembly, and even deciding the layout for a minimum movement of the workers and all. There are so many facilities in that. We'll see the video. It will explain this. See here, now you can see that it is showing the results, that how much is the weight on the left arm, right arm. It is displayed accordingly. We can decide the time interval of rest for the workers also, so that the efficiency of the worker is maintained and there is no discomfort while working. Then this shows the reachability while assembly. And finally, once this simulation and validation is done, we can do the virtual commissioning. It is required for a flawless launch and continuous improvement, because you can address all the hidden issues beforehand you can take necessary corrective actions beforehand, before launching. So for this issue management, these tools are available. Then dimensional and planning validation as well. And finally, this is a virtual commissioning where you can see how it is done, virtual commissioning, that you have all the virtual models of the robot. Suppose it is a robotic line, then there are so many robots manufacturers in the market like KUKA, ABB, then Yaskawa and all. So we have these virtual models available. You can make use of this and they will function same when you do this commissioning. Then you can have the virtual models of the peripheral equipments like fixtures, then conveyors and all. And you can create signals to this virtual and connect to the actual PLC. So there are two types of doing this. One is the software in loop, where the virtual controller is available. Siemens controller is available, or different manufacturers have their virtual controllers. And a TIA portal, it is a total integrated automation portal where you can design your PLC logic. Then this PLC logic is downloaded into the controller, and this controller is connected to the process simulator or your virtual machine, and it will function same like in the real one. And the other is the hardware in loop, where you can have actual hardware connected to the software, the process simulator, where this is for this actuating. This is a HMI, human machine interface. Then there is actual PLC, and obviously the allied control logic field devices are there. These can be directly connected to the model, virtual model, and simulated. And you can see and check the interlocks also. The advantage of this virtual commissioning is that because nowadays the companies are facing problems, because the companies have, with the increase in the precision of the machines and the quality requirements, there are very expensive machines, fast production machines, and to operate them, there are very few resources available. To train a fresher or a fresh resource, it is also time consuming and very expensive. So the virtual commissioning, you can even validate all the safety interlocks, then logic of the PLC logic, you can validate the cycle time, everything, and even virtually you can train the fresh people, so that by the time the line is commissioned, you have a trained resource pool available. Because at the last, normally it happens that the manager won't dare to deploy a person who is fresher on a very expensive machine, because any slight error in the robotic program or in the machine program could lead to accident, damage to the equipment. Then the main original machine accuracy is deteriorated, and to restoring it is very expensive. So you can train the people on a virtual environment. There is no danger of damage and all, and the ready resources are available later on. In this, you can see that they are testing the safety interlocks also.
Manufacturers face continuous pressure to introduce new products while improving productivity. Siemens offers unique solutions to help engineers make key decisions in the production planning stage to gain a competitive edge. One of these solutions, Process Simulate, enables engineers to use a 3D environment to design equipment and refine manufacturing processes. Evaluating multiple iterations and problem solving are performed in the office rather than on the shop floor, so engineers can be confident that their designs will be functional and performance requirements before implementation. Siemens offers an integrated environment that allows critical collaboration between engineering disciplines. Manufacturing engineers working in Process Simulate can share information with controls engineers who are developing Step 7 control logic and HMI design in Siemens TIA Portal, a state-of-the-art software technology unifying all automation software tools in a single development environment. Using Process Simulate for robotics and commissioning, engineers can validate their logic test mechanical sequences and safety interlocks and run other system diagnostics. Flexible automation systems often include the use of robotics. Control of these robots must be fully integrated with automation control in the system, and the logic in both the robot programs and PLC must be validated to ensure proper function. These steps are easily accomplished using Process Simulate. At the appropriate point in the development lifecycle, operators from the shop floor can be brought into a hybrid commissioning environment for system training. Here, we utilize appropriate amounts of hardware in the virtual environment, so operators can become familiar with both the automation and processes. This step helps reduce errors that would normally have to be corrected during ramp-up. With innovative technology offered by Siemens, companies can confidently get the right product to market at the right time.
Actually, now this virtual commissioning of line, you can miss the last step of this digitalization is a digital factory, wherein a complete plant is digitalized and the data it generates is stored in a cloud or a server, and using AI tools, you can make use of this feedback data generated by the equipment to make smart business decision. For example, means the AI would prompt you when this equipment needs maintenance. So when should you plan the shutdown and all. These are the smart decisions you have to take, and this can be done by doing the digital factory. This video, it is specially for the students, how complex and how intricate is the digital factory. They can miss for a better understanding of that. Sorry. This is an example of a digital factory. The incoming material, raw material is coming. It is being unloaded by the forklift. Then the overhead crane distributes the material, and the robot will segregate that. It will distribute for the incoming material to the two lines. The another robot, here you can see that it is emptying the components and feeding to the line. Then the empty pallet or the bin goes to the final packaging area, final area. Then the parts are being processed and it is moving along the path. You can see it is going to the dispatch area. It is being carried by the AGVs, automatic guided vehicles. A special appeal to the students that I will request them that they have good opportunity now. They can make use of these tools. They will be available to them, so that when they start or take a leap into their professional life, they will be ready reckoners for the industries who are waiting for such type of resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hemant. There was a question whether this is useful for computer science students also. So if you may like to answer for that.
Yes, partially. Partially it is useful for computer science also, because in plant simulation, when you simulate that, you have to create a logic. There is a language called SimTalk. It is used. So they can also learn this.
And just one student has recently asked, how much time will it take to learn this software completely?
Actually, the basic concepts, the basics of this tools is especially process simulator or plant simulator. It would take 4-5 months. And what happens is that, once you start understand the basic concept, and if you apply to a realistic world in a limited way, so that way you gain mastery in that.
Sir, what are the softwares part of this lab? Some student has asked that question.
Software part in the
what softwares you have used in here, or what software are part of this your process analysis, process digitization lab?
The softwares are, it is process simulate, then process simulate human, plant simulation, technomatics. Manufacturing, it is a bundle, technomatics manufacturing, which covers process simulate, plant simulate, process simulate human.
Okay. So another anonymous attendee have asked whether you are using SCADA in plant processing planning.
SCADA, yes. Actually, SCADA can be attached to it. And actually, there is a provision in a plant simulate. You can monitor the energy consumption also. Live, you can monitor. And accordingly, you can take necessary steps to reduce the energy consumption.
What kind of startup ideas can come through this program? I'm talking about digital lab. Another anonymous attendee have asked this question. What kind of lab means, what kind of startup ideas can come through this? Any means couple of two you have seen, or which have these labs, and he or she is actually talking about digital lab.
Actually, you can provide these services to the OEMs also, because what happens is that either they create a department for this, a special department, or they hire external services from external agency. You can get the projects, and then you can get a realistic feel of that, realistic feel.
Somebody has asked a question, how all these seems to be related to mechanical and automobile, how it is related to CSC?
No, actually, it is not only related to mechanical or this automobile industry. Even it is applicable for aerospace and even process industries also. That can be simulated in that.
So one of the faculty, Professor Goswami, is asking how to integrate AI, IoT using these software to accomplish tasks. Any systematic approach?
There is a suite called MES. The Siemens has this. So in that case, you can actually integrate this equipments to the IoT. You can have this tool is there. So then you can get the feedback from the machines and use for the business decisions.
In addition to this, I just want to add that we have started with 5-6 labs, and we'll see how the response is, because there are other labs also which are lined up, and IoT being one of them actually. So, but initially we have not bought IoT. That was a higher level decision, but IoT is also part of one of the labs, and seeing the response later on, other labs are also available. So there are electric vehicle lab, or you can say there is a IoT lab also available. So there are other labs also. So it is not like, it's not related to CSC only. And what's your software actually we are studying, which are being used here, are only developed by computer, I'll probably say CSC engineers only. Is this part of NX or some other software?
Actually, NX and all, it can be integrated, because in this process, when you design a part, so for that NX, there are so many CAD softwares are available, which can design the parts. Like NX is there, Solid is there, SolidWorks. And you can import these models, CAD models, into this process simulate.
More questions to be from the faculty side as well as the student side. This is the right time that you can interact with the expert, and this is not a one time. and we are going to use this one because the center is already established, we have already launched, and we need to use this one. The success depends on how we are going to use it, how much that you understand, how much that you have questions. The more questions, the more you will be able to get the answers. The more you get the answers, and then some more questions also will come. And that is the best way to learn.
So, Hemantji.
Yeah?
Okay. Hemantji, before you start answering further questions, I just want to introduce, he is our Dean Academic Affairs, Professor V. Samuel sir. He actually joined in between the session, so I didn't, I just was waiting. And now along in the panelists, other panelists, we have Professor P.C. Kishore Rajas, EC head, and Dr. Ajay Sharma, Professor Ajay Sharma he is the CSC head.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
So, Hemantji, any other questions from or? Okay,
yes, sir,
are you using?
Sir, I would like to ask a question to Hemant.
Yes, sir,
please.
Yeah. Sir, it is like when you spoke about the ergonomics, that ergonomics,
Yes,
the movement of the human being and the around the workplace can be simulated. This is one of the very good thing which recently also last week, this week also in labor laws, a health and human health and safety was bill passed in the parliament. So what was happening in the past that human health was not being taken into consideration, the ergonomics part particularly, and because of that, the long range, after working of 15 years, 20 years, the workers find that they have become redundant. They find that these workers are of no use because they have developed, their backbones have gone to such an extent that the grease has gone out of their slip discs. And what is happening because of this, the productivity of the workman goes down over the time. Now, once you say that this ergonomics part, that ergonomics takes care of the worker throughout their life cycle. That means from the age of 20, it should be able to take up to 60 years or not up to 40 or 45 years. In Japan, what is happening? They have been taking a lot of care for the human beings. The humans are the assets of the organization. Here you have given a very good thing, the simulation part. Yes, what in industry presently is being done, that it is by observations. We observe it, we modify it, and we look after the ergonomics part of it. So I would like to understand how ergonomics here would be very helpful to the student. Would you like to, though we have never used this ergonomics from the software point of view. I have used ergonomics by observations and implementing it. Sir, would you like to comment on this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, in this, what they have done, how this software is developed, that they have a vast database of various races, Africans, Americans, Asians, then Europeans and all. That database is fed into the software also. And in the background, they have that how much is there. If you select a human operator who is a European or Asian, so how much is the physical strength, and all this backup data is there. And based on that, when you perform any activity, then in the background, it calculates how much is the load exerted on various parts of the body. And accordingly, the software would suggest what is the best posture for carrying out any activity, or how much rest this person would need to maintain the efficiency throughout the cycle or the whole shift of working. So accordingly, it is decided, and it calculates based on that data. They have very extensive data in the background, and accordingly it calculates that. It is very precise, means even if you select a human, means a male worker or a female worker, accordingly the suggestions given by the software would vary.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Agnihotri ji, there is one question. Are you using Gambit and Fluid software for computational fluid dynamics and FEM, finite element analysis?
Yes, sir. Actually, means our tomorrow.
Yeah, on
session.
Monday we have. For you, actually, on Monday we are having a simulation and analysis lab presentation. So that will cover up all this part of not only fluid dynamics but other analysis software also, which I think some of them can be
Yes.
can be used by civil students also. So if they are civil students, they should also join it. Shouldn't miss the Monday's presentation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we design our manufacturing plant from this software? Also, why is the security stats for our product privacy in research?
Sir, please repeat your question, please. You
Yeah,
are not.
first part of the question is, can we design our manufacturing plant from this software?
Yes, sir. Yes, definitely.
Also,
Right from scratch, you can design.
Yes. Also, what is the security statics for this? So, security stat for this, for our product privacy in research.
Privacy in research. Like a team center. Actually, do you have this team center platform? Because
Yes,
actually, I think so. You have that team center. So it is a basic enterprise-wide platform, Team Center, and all these softwares are on top of that, and it ensures this security. Means whatever development you do, that data will be secure. Because in the Team Center there is a provision you can decide the access rights also. Means an administrator, if suppose in an organization normally happens that suppose the finance department, that data is not accessible, it is accessible to the top and also the concerned people. So accordingly you can define the accessibility in that, and the data is secure.
So does Siemens have a R&D center in India?
R&D center, I'm not sure, but there is. They have developed one digital factory in Mumbai. So R&D center, I will just get back to you. I'll confirm and get back to you.
Yeah, if that is, if you can just find it out, just please let me know. So I'll share
Yes,
the
sir,
information with the head of the department, or Karthik can inform me, or Akhilesh ji, or anybody, or probably in the next session on Monday, if who's the speaker, kindly if you can inform. Okay, so which load balancing approach? This is Dr. Puneet Goswami, professor of CSA department. His second question is, which load balancing approach is used for better response time?
Load balancing in the sense, means the line balancing in the sense.
Can we unmute Professor Goswami, and he can, if he want to, he can refurbish or restate his question, what exactly he wants to know. If it is possible, I request I think, yeah, he's there. Sir, Puneet sir, please unmute yourself. I can see your icon now. Please unmute and ask your question.
Thanks for providing this, having an interaction with the expert today.
Please, sir, sir, please a bit loud.
Now I'm audible?
Perfect.
Okay, yeah. So, first of all, I welcome Mr. Hemant Agnihotri ji for enlightening us with your expert talk. But one my question is that just recently when you were answering Mr. N.K. Sharma, and you mentioned one word that we are just load balancing basically load balancing is the various tasks which are doing at the back end we are having. And when this load balancing we are doing it, so there is certain approach we are just implementing over there just to get the better response time. So whatever the person who is getting an access So more the better response time we will have. So the softwares which you are using currently and the software which are available, like we are using another also softwares right now in the industry, and we are making the results out of it. And how we will ensure, how we will say that the approach which we are using for the load balancing over here is far better than what we are currently using. That is what my question, just to get the better insight of the research which we are just moving forward in our university, so that we can have better results out of it, this software.
Sir, load balancing in this sense, you mean to say
In a cloud computing way, because you have just said that in a cloud, when the data is stored over there, so we have a load balancing factor over there also.
No, load balancing. No, actually, this question refers to this IoT. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So what happens is that, there are softwares, you can use that also. Software is that the software is connected to the machine.
Yes.
At the machine, it will automatically, means normally the industries, what problem they face is that whatever the data is fed manually.
Okay.
Right, or it can be wrong.
Okay.
Depends on the operator. How the data. So finally, that data goes to the top management.
Okay.
It may prove that they take a wrong decision based on that data.
Okay.
So to make it very authentic, there is no human intervention. I'll give you an example of that IoT that connect that. So they take 4 output signals from the machine.
Okay.
Fed to the software.
Okay.
Output signal is on, spindle off.
Okay.
For example, of a machine. Cycle on, cycle stop, and cycle stop. Cycle start and cycle stop. Based on this, you can get all the necessary information. What they do is that it is fed in the software, that the cycle time is fed, the on time is fed. If the idle time exceeds that, and enter the proper reason, the next cycle will not start.
Okay.
So this is the approach they have taken.
Okay.
So they have to enter the authentic data, and this data is directly generated, and at the end of the shift, you get the production, total production, line-wise production. Even if means normally it happens, I'm giving you the all practical industry scenarios.
Okay.
Normally in third shift, the operators are very keen to have some sleep. So what they do is that they will reduce the cycle time. Or speed field, they will increase the speed field, which obviously hampers the quality of the component.
Yes.
And they will finish the production and go to sleep.
Yes.
Even if that also can be detected in that.
Okay.
So and this data generated is fed into the cloud.
Okay.
Powered by AI software.
Okay.
You analyze that and take business decisions also.
Okay, so I am extending one more question that was asked previously in just context to this only. Like for the authentication purpose and for the privacy preservation, when we talk about this privacy preservation techniques, which saves the data from the unethical attacks, or we can say when somebody wants to get into the data. So when the big data, you are saying that we are feeding this data. So there exist various approaches for just saving data. Like we say that with K anonymization is there, T closeness is there. So what approach we are just you have used in this particular software to ensure that the data which we are feeding into the software, that is being protected by the outside agency, because actually, we have to protect that data as well.
So actually, based on the pros and cons of, there are various methods of protecting the data.
Yes.
You can have in your lab, you have an independent server.
Yeah.
With all safeties and firewalls and all in place. Or now it is that cloud. If you don't want to invest into that infrastructure.
We have cloud also. Yes.
So, but now also in India, many people are very skeptical about the cloud. They are not sure whether their data.
Yes.
But ultimately now it is switching to the cloud data computation. Because there are many big players in this, like Amazon, and even Siemens is also going for that.
Okay. But my question was a bit different. I will just elaborate you once again. So my question is, we know that data is to be protected, data is to be there. We must have our own server where we can put our data, and then we can ensure the security of that. That is a separate thing. We can hire the third agency as a cloud. We have IBM also, Azure, Microsoft Azure also, IBM Bluemix cloud is there. But what we want is, if we are just feeding a particular data set in this particular software, is there any your own system which is providing a security level to our own data? That is my question.
Okay. So if you are using the standalone versions like Process Simulate, Plant Simulate,
okay,
then there is no provision in that software.
Okay, there is no provision. So it means we have to, at our end, we have to ensure that our data is protected by the third agencies of the cloud, where we just want to protect.
No, there is a common platform. I earlier said that it is a Team Center.
Okay.
And all these softwares are integrated with Team Center. The Team Center manages the data of all softwares.
Okay.
Whatever you do, whether it is a CAD design,
okay,
you do simulation,
yes,
or you do plant simulation or human ergonomics, everything, whole data is stored in Team Center server, right?
Okay.
And in Team Center, you have provision to provide the accessibility rights.
Okay, we have the right for this giving this accessibility of data.
Yes, yes. You can find it when you configure that Team Center.
Yes.
Wide, you can find the rights.
Okay.
That way it is protected, sir.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Hemanji, another question is, can we do simulation of laser shaft alignment of pumps used in process industry such as oil and gas industry using these softwares? I think again this will be answered in the next lab only, if I'm not mistaken.
Sir, Miss, actually I'm not sure about this. Miss, this is the typical application I have to confirm from this.
Yes, because I think this is part of simulation and analysis, and in that only for oil and gas. Because in that, if I remember, there was a talk about pneumatics also, and probably regarding fluid mechanics also. So I'll also just if you can just note down this question and just get back to me, or Karthik can get back to me if it is part of analysis. Then we'll definitely inform the student, because as far as I remember, when I was going through the documentation and everything, the simulation and analysis covers about the pneumatics and the fluids and the hydraulics, if I'm not mistaken. So still we'll get back to you.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes. Okay, sir. Okay. I'll get back to you.
So there is a just short while back, Professor Manish Bhalla is the registrar and officiating VC. He has also joined in. Yes, somebody has asked, should the queries related to FE analysis of material testing manufacturing be asked tomorrow? What is your say, Agnihotri ji?
Yes, that will be discussed in Monday session, sir.
Yes, Monday session, that is on simulation and analysis lab.
Yes, sir.
So is it over, Vineet?
Yes, sir. I'll just, before NK Sharma ji delivers a vote of thanks, if you want to have some ending remarks or closing remarks.
Right. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, before he says the vote of thanks, there are 2-3 things. In the next panel, please give access to all the HODs and all the professors in the engineering. Okay, all the HODs and all the professors will be part of the panel. And it's very difficult to accommodate all the people. I know that due to the limitation.
Yeah, I think, sir, it has gone, but I'll check it. I think
all the HODs and all the professors.
Yeah. Okay.
Second thing is that from the speaker side, I want them to use the video. Use their camera, and which is I want them to make it more live. Okay. So next session you make sure that one,
I'll inform them.
From my side, it is, I would say that, use the word as mandatory, and more interaction should be there. If you cannot see the person, it's very difficult. Okay, I will not be happy to interact if I don't see the person. So this is very important. And 2 days time is there. Okay, what are the some difficult? I understand sometimes internet some difficulties are there, or in the laptop some difficulties may be there. I agree with that one, because we are also facing many times so many issues. Okay, and the most important thing is that interaction. The faculty members, you please come up with a preparation. You know that which topic is going to be discussed, what is going to be done. You know, Vinith has already circulated everything to all the faculty members. I want that more interaction to be there. If some interesting students are there, you know, you can just, you know, interact with them, and also involve the incubation center. You know, Dr. Ahmed also to be part of the panel, not only the engineering side. Okay, and if some of the students in the part of the incubation center, if they're interested, let them be a part. You know, I want more knowledge to be gained from this interaction, because this is just a beginning. Okay, how much interest we take and how much that we interact, it's going to matter a lot. And as I pointed out that 2 days ago, it's not only that NIT Trichy, but even SRM, Delhi NCR, Sonipat also going to create the history. It has to make the, you know, difference. And how we are going to make use of the collaboration with you know, Siemens. Siemens are giants in their area. SRM is a giant in our area. So it's going to be a win-win situation. I want that we should make use of it. That's, you know, that is from my side. So every session should be attended by all the faculty members. Okay, because subject may be slightly different. But what happens that if you interact with other subject expert, you will be able to correlate, you will be able to relate what you are going to gain, which is going to be more important. Because I'm so glad to see that, you know, now our faculty members started interacting with other departments and then coming up with, you know, patents, paper, projects. So that this is a beginning, you know, this is a good beginning. So this is what I want to encourage, and then I want to support. Okay, from the academic and research side, everybody will get good support. Everybody will get support. The administration is supporting, the management is supporting. Okay, the academic and as well as research side also, you get support. So, you know, when you are getting all the support, the environment is in your favor, and there is a positive vibration. So I want that everybody should make use of that, and every session should be attended by all the faculty members. You don't know what you will gain, what is waiting for you. Okay, with that few words, you know, I may be or may not be able to attend all the sessions, but I want every faculty to be here and, you know, gain the knowledge. So thank you, Vinith, for organizing this one. Now over to you, Dr. M.K. Sharma.
Sharma sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Hemant sir. You have spoken right from 200 years back how the industry started. When the steam engine was there, the power was driven from there. Then how the Ford Motor Company, the Henry Ford started the production, and they made the production line, and that was called as a Fordism. Later on, you speak on PLC and IT, I4 in Industry 4, where the machines are speaking to. One machine is speaking to another machine, and the data, online data, is available. If any of the machine is not working, or the quality of that machine is not producing good product, so that data is immediately communicated to all the machines. That particular machine is not working, and we have to optimize what we have to stop and where. So this is one of the most important parts. That means in the system, what we are looking at, the speed and accuracy is the essence of everything. It is not like that the human being cannot do it. People had been doing when this technology was not there. People have been doing it. But in today's competitive environment, it becomes essential to be competitive, so that the industry would survive. We have to compete not only to Europe, China, and Russia and America, but to everyone. When the technology is available, we have to bring down our cost and improve the scales of production. Then you spoke about the mass production techniques. You spoke about the batch production. and also the flexible manufacturing system, which you have emphasized a lot. Flexible manufacturing system, where the product life cycle is so small that within 6 months you want a new product. The customer is looking for new product. So how to do about it in a old style? The machines cannot be rearranged so quickly. We cannot teach them so quickly. Here with the software, we can easily change our software and make the and start making the new product. And you spoke also of engineering change notices. Engineering change notice means that once one product is going on the production line, the modification is to be done. In the next modification is coming to the product. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to stop the production line, or to change the new, or to get the new machine and start again? No, this is not the time. This was years back. Then when we have to change the machine, we have to make lot of modification and stop the production line. But in manufacturing, in flexible manufacturing system, it is a continuous process, and within seconds, whole of the process is changed, and we can start producing the new product. Then you talked about the digital plant, digital factory. You spoke about the ergonomics, and many things you spoke about. Means it in a competitive environment, when the technology is available to us, we must utilize it, and to remain competitive in the market, not only locally but have to be globally also, in everything, whether it is a productivity, quality, cost, safety, ergonomics, and economies of scale has to be also achieved. That is what we have, Hemant sir has explained in detail, and you also talked about the logistics. We are producing something in a factory, but how this product is going to the customer and from where the raw material is coming, that is another part which is very important. And you line balancing, as Dr. Goswami has also spoke about, what is the load balancing. Probably what the load balancing is something like a term was called a takt time, TAKT, time available for completing the task. It is a German term which came back to Japan also. What cycle time within the two processes, what is the cycle time, and the throughput time also, from where the raw material is going and input raw material, and where the output is coming out, how much time it is taking. So what is being emphasized, that we need not have to go first to make all these things and find out where we are lagging. What is the important, what is being emphasized over here, that we can design everything sitting on the computer. We can see the whole of the operation coming. What are our throughputs? How much cost would it be? How many manpower is required? What is the layout? Everything can be done and can be optimized over here by using all this Siemens software. So with this, I would like to thank everyone over here. Over to Dr. Vinit Bajaj.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your vote of thanks. Thank you, Hemant ji. Thank you for your time. And I hope that once this pandemic situations normalize, we'll be having the complete team here in the campus. And during that time, I expect that all of us get an opportunity from your team members to learn more and more about software. I'm pretty much excited for simulation and analysis, because that is my cup of tea, and I hope the others, like wherever the people are good in their domain and want to excel in other domains, they'll be able to utilize it. So hope to see you soon in our university campus, sir.
Yes, sir, sure. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I request sir to kindly end the session. Rohit sir, thank you for your precious time and efforts. I now request you to kindly end the session, sir. Rohit sir, if you can, I think you might have. Okay, sir. Then I request all to leave the session. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.